Yes, for real, Neko packs some serious power now. I could have never imagined myself there being a time where my Nekomata is going to rival Ye Shunguang in terms of damage. Okay, at M6W5 that is, but our newly buffed cat deals some seriously nasty damage even at M0W1 and should no longer be underestimated. Welcome, I'm Rivyn Elowen, but you may call me Rivy, and this is your complete updated in-depth guide to our now formidable cat NEKOMATA. Nekomata is a standard banner physical attacker DPS, and she now excels at dodge counters, even during stun. We will first have a quick summary of her potential awakening kit changes, and then dive into her complete kit afterwards. First, Neko gains access to a new dodge counter whose MV nearly rivals that of her ultimate. To use said dodge counter, we require her new and unique resource, Per Energy, and upon doing so, she enters a state during which all of her attacks are now considered back attacks. Per Energy generates passively every second, and she gains additional Per Energy when using her ultimate, chain, or EX special. Additionally, both her core and additional ability have been heavily modified, now providing her effectively with a 70% damage bonus for her dodge counters and EX, as well as an additional 60% when using her dodge counter or quick assist. All of her attacks also deal additional damage passively, and she now requires either a support, a physical, or cunning hair's agent to activate her additional ability. Her 5th and enhanced basic attack have been changed as well and will now always repeat against stunned enemies. Her EX special actually has snapping to it now and doesn't only hit empty air if we are more than 1 meter away, and lastly her potential provides her with a 60% crit damage as well. Nekomata features a new and unique resource called Per Energy, and it is indicated as per usual right below her HP bar. She starts combat with 40 points, the bar is kept at 60, and Nekomata passively generates it at a rate of 1 per second. Using her ultimate, a chain attack, or EX special will generate 20, 10, and 5 per energy as well. Upon using her dodge counter or quick assist, she gains a 60% damage bonus for 40 seconds, or in other words, this has effectively a permanent uptime. Lastly, using her enhanced dodge counter will grant Nekomata a state for 40 seconds as well, during which all of her attacks are considered back attacks and also deal additional damage. Nekomata requires either a support, physical, or cunning hair's agent, and if that condition is met, her EX special and dodge counter gain a 35% damage bonus, stacking up to 2 times after using her enhanced dodge or if any squad member triggers assault. In practice, this is often rather difficult to maintain. I will get back to this after we covered her new enhanced dodge and dodge counter. We will skip her quick assist, defensive assist, assist follow-up, and also special, as they behave as we would expect them to behave, and well, they do nothing special. Nekomata features 2 dodges and 2 dodge counters. While her regular dodge and dodge counter do what we would expect them to do, her enhanced dodge can only be used with at least 40 per energy by pressing dodge again after triggering a perfect dodge, and upon doing so, she will consume 30 per energy to move behind the enemy. Her enhanced dodge counter features an absurd motion value and can be used in one of 2 ways. Either by pressing her basic attack after triggering her special dodge, or by simply holding down her basic attack with at least a 40 per energy at the cost of 40 per energy. Because her new enhanced dodge counter is A, her new primary way of dealing damage, and B, can also be used during stun by simply holding basic attack, this has a few implications. First, Neko is now able to maintain 3 stacks on Woodpecker rather well, and second, if played with a stunner, we do not want to use her dodge counter out of stun anymore. The latter is pretty important for additional ability, as I teased before already. Neko only gains a stack of the damage bonus after using her new special dodge, not her dodge counter. Within a Neko, Dial and Suna team, for example, or any stunner team for that matter, we will trigger Assault around once every minute, and usually that is at the end of the stun window. It means the uptime on this is actually not that great, unless we play around it, which to be fair is well possible. I will show you how to play around this within the gameplay showcase, so you know how you can optimize her gameplay, and I will also show you what you can expect if you don't use it in the 2 showcases at the end. Neko also features a 5-part basic attack with the 5th hit hitting repeatedly if the enemy is stunned. We can also simply hold down her basic attack during any of the first 3 basic attacks to use a weaker version of her basic 5. We ideally want to use both, and especially the latter can find use during stun windows to maintain Woodpecker. We don't use her special unless we run Severed Innocence, which we really shouldn't, and her EX special will be frequently used as well, but it does nothing special either outside of generating us 5 additional per energy. I do want to mention, however, that her EX finally has target snapping, so we can also finally actually hit the enemy rather than thin air. Her chain attack and ultimate do what we expect them to do and generate 10 and 20 additional per energy respectively. Both are a good chunk of her damage profile, so we will use them actively. Most of Nekomata's damage happens during stun, and most of it also comes from her new dodge counter, followed by her ultimate and EX special. Focus on her core first and foremost, then her dodge, followed by her chain and EX, then her basics, and lastly assist. Our buffed cat has multiple combos and stun rotations available, but most of it really just dumps down to getting as many enhanced dodge counters, EX specials, chain attacks, and also ultimates into one stun window as possible. Assuming Dial-In, we require at least 40, but ideally 55 per energy and also 80 energy. We begin stun by casting her EX special, 1 basic, and then follow up by holding down a basic to use her new enhanced dodge counter, which we swap cancel. The basic is here just to make sure we maintain Woodpecker, and you can also use the EX after her enhanced dodge counter to not waste per energy, but assuming you have at least Mindscape 4, we want that crit rate early on. We then retrigger stun using another character and use Neko's chain attack. This leaves us with 35 per energy, so another 1 basic to maintain Woodpecker into another EX special are enough to get back to 40, so we use a second enhanced dodge counter right after, which we simply swap cancel again. We again retrigger stun for a second chain on Neko, into another basic attack, and finally her ultimate. We do 1 more basic attack, then we are back at 40 per energy and use a third enhanced dodge counter, which we swap cancel to Dial-In and use her held basic attack to finish the stun with a second ultimate on Nekomata. If you use Norma or Astra instead of Dial-In, nothing really changes here, but her last ultimate is another chain attack instead. I begin combat on Neko, and the very first thing I do is to trigger her new dodge to gain a stack of her additional ability. We want to do this rather early on to be back at 40 per energy as soon as the stun window starts. I then switch to Suna, get hit, cause who cares, and parry the first attack on Neko. We really like those decibels. I then switch to Suna, hold her EX to get her buffs and Ether Veil up, and switch to Dial-In to cast 2 EX specials, then quickly switch to Neko to basic a few times before the initial attack from Thrall hits, which I then parry with Dial-In. I use Dial-In's EX and instantly parry on Nekomata again, which I then follow up with her EX special and enhanced dodge counter to open the stun window. I swap cancel the dodge counter to Dial-In and retrigger stun. I then use Neko's chain followed by her EX special and again swap cancel it to retrigger stun. After the second chain, I then basic attack until at 40 per energy, then use another enhanced dodge counter and switch to Dial-In for an ultimate conversion. I continue to basic until at 3000 decibels, then use her ultimate and end the stun window with another last enhanced dodge counter. Now we have no resources available whatsoever, well except some energy, but face the problem that we want to get rid of Sobek as soon as possible. So I basic attack and hold onto my EX special until Sobek appears, then cast her EX special. I switch to Dial-In and Suna to use their EX specials for some free damage, then parry on Neko as her assist follow-up simply deals the most damage in this team. I continue to basic until at 40 energy, then use Neko's EX again, followed by her enhanced dodge counter, and Sobek is gone. Her A1 unlocks her new abilities and buffs and should hence always be activated. Her A2 to A6 then grant her a non-negligible amount of crit damage, up to 60% to be exact, and providing her with a good and frankly also very much needed damage gain. Due to the crit damage saturation she has due to teammate buffs and also now her own awakening potential, her own signature Steel Cushion is her best choice. And with all of her attacks being considered back attacks now, she can very well make use of it. As a special note on Cordis Germina, it does become better when used with other death threat sources, such as Nicole or M1 Sunna, and also when not running pen ratio in slot 5. Being able to now maintain 3 stacks of Woodpecker rather consistently on her, even during stun, makes a 4-piece Woodpecker her best choice. As for the 2-piece, Puffer Electro is her primary go-to choice, at least with pen ratio in slot 5 that is, but other options such as Branch and Blade Song or Astral Voice or Hormone Punk are great as well, and also a better choice when played with death threat sources such as Nicole or Sunna's M1. Crit rate in slot 4, pen ratio slot 5, and attack percent in slot 6 are her best preferred choices all the way up until Mindscape 4. As we will see in just a bit, at Mindscape 4 we then prefer crit damage in slot 4 instead, and at M6, attack percent in slot 4 becomes her best choice. Without any attack buffer in the team, such as Sunna, for example, if we play Nicole instead, we are ideally looking at attack percent in all 3 slots however. For her substats, a focus on crit rate until 100% in combat, then crit damage and attack, followed by flat pen and flat attack. Please note that attack percent and crit damage are near equal in value, so please do not underestimate the value of attack percent substat rolls. Nekomata's Mindscapes are still rather good, and with her awakening potential she can now always and fully make use of her M1's physical rest shred. Her M2 and M3 exist, albeit her Mindscape 2 helps to maintain Woodpecker a bit better and also matters for her M4. And speaking of which, her Mindscape 4 grants her up to 14% crit rate if played well, and that allows us to run crit damage in slot 4 instead of crit rate. Her M5 exists as well, and her M6 provides us with yet another 54% crit damage, which yet again shifts her build slightly, making attack percent in slot 4 her best choice. Nekomata now works with any support for her additional ability, and that unlocks quite a few new teams for her. Dial Sunna Core is her new, and frankly also old, best team, providing quick and fast stuns for Nekomata to unleash her damage in, and given we are likely to run Nekomata versus a physical weak enemy such as Thrall, Nightmare or Defiler, this team also allows us to run Game Ball on Sunna, allowing for a better build path for Neko pre-M4. Neko also really likes pen ratio by default due to stat saturation, and the newly buffed Rina plays nicely into that as well. Otherwise, both Astra and Nicole will do well as per usual. Norma is yet another great choice for Neko, allowing for quick stuns and providing a pretty high damage contribution herself. However, given Nekomata's best matchups being physical weak and Norma having a rather bad matchup into all 3 of them, as well as Neko's ultimate granting double as much per energy as her chain does, Dialin pulls out ahead as a better choice for Neko. Additionally, Neko's ultimate is pretty quick and her chain has quite low MV in comparison as well, making Norma just slightly worse of a choice than Dialin. As Nekomata can on-field rather well, any inactive stunner, namely Jufufu and Trigger, can do their job. If you are a new player or you simply skip nearly every stunner ever released, Chingy, Golida or Ambi will do their job, albeit much worse than her premium choices, and Nicole, just as per usual, works extremely well in the support slot as well. Lastly, a wheelchair team of 2 supports will always work, but I would highly recommend a stunner for her as she really appreciates stun windows. Given the free 300 pull selector, Nekomata is effectively a free unit and you might even already have Mindscapes for her. with her signature being her best choice and that weapon being rather well obtainable as well, and most players already having a formidable 4-piece woodpecker, she is also quite easy to build. I never thought I would actually say this, but her damage is now actually good. At M6W5 she will perform evenly or possibly better than any limited M0 attacker we have gotten so far. Well, at least that is assuming her best team stat is. And with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Before I leave you with the showcases, don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment on your thoughts on Nekomata and her buffs, and of course join the Discord, we have lovely people over there. Also, if you want some cool merch, we have merch now, yippee, a link is in the description. A special thanks goes to my YouTube and Patreon members who make this content possible. If you wish to support me, you will find a link to my Patreon in the description, or simply click the join button right below this video. And as always, I appreciate all of you and wish you a great day. Peace!
yes, 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 yes.